my podcast update, March 2021. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Let's talk podcasts, shall we? Currently, I have 3 different podcasts that I'm hosting. Probably some others that I'll be taking part in as time goes on, but right now I'm hosting 3 different ones. I'll go through them and kind of how we came about developing each one and where they're at now. Where am I going next? Now, why would you watch this? You want to watch this because I want you to think about where you're at. Do you have a podcast? If not, should you have a podcast? And we've talked a lot on this show about podcasting, about the abilities, developments in podcasting, how anybody can really start one. It takes very little. And you can watch some of my other videos concerning that. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history, and maybe you can see where this can fit in with your life. Even if you don't host one, where you can get onto one. And now I'll show you some opportunities that I have that you may be able to come on one of my shows. So, originally, the whole podcast idea came out from a lack of public free content that I had available out there. I wanted to be able to set myself up properly in the eyes of prospective clients in the future. And what I was coming across over and over again was a lack of initial trust, just because there was so little out there about me. Purposefully, I was trying to keep it as closed in as possible to try and control the content, and in doing that, I unintentionally gave out the idea that I did not have anything going on. You see, if you're not public, if it's not out there in the public eye, if somebody types your name into Google and they're not able to find very much, that gives off the wrong perspective. And so what both me and one of my main business associates, Sean Douglas, who helps produce all the podcasts and everything you see here, the descriptions, everything, so much of it is done by Sean, and he has been kind of my right-hand man behind the scenes making things happen. And we came to the conclusion, also with help of my wife Kate, she was kind of the one that urged it on early on, was the idea of having an ongoing podcast. So we started the Off the Grid Biz podcast because at the time, one of the main focuses that I was going after were self-reliance based businesses. I wanted to kind of jump in and dig in and find out more about them, and to see if there was any need for the services I provide. And there has been quite a great response, but the market has changed extremely through the last couple of years. So we started off this podcast and just started interviewing people. And as we got going, we saw that there was I'm looking for the right word. There was a whole lot of gathering of self-reliance based businesses with Mother Earth News. So they were advertising in Mother Earth News magazines, and they were also going to these Mother Earth News fairs, okay, which were spread out across the United States and Canada. And so I wanted to dig into some of this stuff. So we found one that was happening very nearby, up in Albany, north of here, about 4.5 hours, something like that. And so we set up to go, and we just said, hey, we've got a list of all the different speakers that are going to be there, businesses that are going to be vendors there. Let's set them all up to be interviewed leading up to it. And then we'll have a podcast about the event itself. We'll interview some people there, and we'll line up new people to interview afterwards. And so it was just an amazing experience. All right. This was 2019. We led up to it. We had all these podcasts. You could go back and listen to all this stuff. It's great stuff. Still, so much of it applies because we're talking business principles. And so the Off the Grid Biz podcast has been a lot of fun, continues to be a lot of fun. I continue to meet a whole lot of great people who continue to introduce me to more people, and we get more and more and more into that realm. In fact, it might be my next book that I put out is going to be based off the Off the Grid Biz podcast, the conversations we've had and the ideas that we've explored on that show. So that's been a whole lot of fun. So after that, we started saying, well, what we really need to do is have more of me as a personality out there. And so we tested out the idea of having podcasts that is the one that you're listening to or watching right now, which is Brian J. Pombo Live. Just me just kind of talking about and giving a quick idea on something. And some of them can sometimes be longer, like this one probably is going to end up as, and some of them will be shorter, but we want to keep them all under 10 minutes because we get to hit all the major platforms in that situation, and it makes it just easy to handle. So we did that. We started out with live video on Facebook Live, trying to take advantage of some of the algorithms there, and then we found it more easier just to record it and spread it out. So every once in a while we'll do something live on one of the platforms, but mainly we've just tried to do it regularly. So on a daily basis, I am putting these things out. Every once in a while I'll skip a day, but for the most part it's day after day after day, regardless of where I am on the globe. I'll put out a podcast and we'll talk about something hopefully meaningful, either principle-based, strategy-based, or tactic-based. This has been a whole lot of fun. It's been mainly just me talking to the camera. Every once in a while one of my kids will come on, or I'll have Shawnee Douglas on, and we'll have something. But as the future goes on, I've talked about this a little bit with you. The interviews that I've had from my other shows, and I'll tell you about my third show in a second, but the interviews for my other shows have been so interesting, but they're limited. So Off the Grid Biz podcast has been all self-reliance based businesses, which is great. That's a whole lot of people I can talk to, and we're very loose on how we define an off the grid biz business, But that's been great. But there's a whole lot of people that I haven't been able to talk to that aren't anywhere near that realm, and we haven't found a way to completely tie it in. So there's another podcast I have, and it's all local based. So I've said that's within this county. This county is called Josephine County in Oregon. We're in southern Oregon. We're right up, smack up next to the California border. So we're a good sized county, but we only have one major city called Grants Pass. There's a lot of minor cities, Cave Junction, a couple others around here, but and a lot of places that aren't officially cities, but areas. People are spread out all over the county. I said we'll call it Grants Pass VIP because that's most of the people are going to have something to do with Grants Pass, but we're going to include all of Josephine County. So that's what we've done. We interview anybody that has anything to do, even people that don't live here, but people who have work here or have some type of interaction with Josephine County that's meaningful. And so we've had a whole lot of great interviews for that show. Lots of fun. It's been, as I mentioned yesterday, it's given me a chance to get out there and meet people and stuff like that, which is great. But we were limited. We're still limited. And so what I'm going to start doing is interviewing anybody that I find interesting, that I could find a way to tie back into our conversation, especially in terms of business, but principles, anything at all. I'm going to start interviewing them via Zoom or in person, and we're going to start bringing those interviews to you. Live video interviews. All the other podcasts have been audio. This one has a video element to it. It also has an audio element. You might be listening to this via the audio podcast, but just so you know, you can watch the video over at brianjpombo.com. We have the entire blog up there now, going all the way back to when we first started, and which was just after starting the Off the Grid Biz podcast. We started this one, and you could check out all those other podcasts. So we've got the Brian J. Pombo podcast at brianjpombo.com. We've got the Off the Grid Biz podcast, offthegridbiz.com. And we've got the Grants Pass VIP, grantspassvip.com. So check out all those podcasts to get a feel for it. We try and keep it very formula, very simple, very straightforward. It's just a process for meeting new people, for getting to know them, giving other people a chance to know them, getting a chance to get some exposure via the internet, both on social media, the search engines, everything else. It's also given us a chance to put out ads and so forth. So hopefully that makes sense. We're running out of time. I'll check you out tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.